Hey, quick question. This question is for veterans and beginners. You having a problem with accuracy, or would you like to be more accurate? If so, pay attention to this video. I've got 5 things to explain to you that'll put you right on point. All right? Pay attention. It's coming up right now. All right, starting this thing out here with five fundamentals of accuracy. First one is aiming. Second one is hold control. Third one is breath control. Fourth one is trigger control. And the fifth one is follow through. And I'm going to show you all steps up close, give you a nice look, and show you exactly what I'm talking about so you can understand what this whole thing is about, because this principle and these fundamentals never change. These are what you have to be extremely accurate. So let's take a look at the first one, is aiming. All right, show you aiming here. I'm going to show you from a bench rest position here, starting out, so I can give you a close-up look here exactly, and sight in, put the camera in and sight in on the sights that I have. Now, if you haven't seen the mods that I did, this is my EDC. I have a video up. You can check that out up here in the corner, and see the mods that I did to it here with the sights, trigger, and everything else. Okay, but I'm gonna give you a close-up look exactly at how to aim, sight this in, and get a good sight picture. All right, now as you can see, I got this in a bench rest position. I'm sitting it on here on my bench rest Caldwell stand here to give you a good look. Hopefully it's in close enough to where you can see. Now, as you can see on mine, with these sights, this is modded here. So this is a tritium night sight here on the rear. This is a single dot lower, and a high definition Trigicon sight, front sight. Okay, I can see here. Let me see if I can scoot over and give you a better sight picture there. There you go. So what you want is proper alignment. So you want proper elevation and windage. Elevation would be, as you see, this is elevation here. This means windage here. Okay, so proper elevation, line it up, make sure everything is on point. That's aiming there. This is a sight picture that you want, total sight picture. As you can see, the target is blurred. You want focus on the front sight, and this is the type of elevation that you want, and windage. Proper sight picture. Now with your sights, it could be a 2-dot sighted rear, or with a Glock stock sight, so you'll see that U shape with the Glock stock rear sights, and then a front dot for a Glock. Different sights, different guns, depends on who the manufacturer is here. So, but as I'm sliding out of the rest here, let me put it back in here. There is proper sight picture like this. Let's move on to hold control. All right, second fundamental is hold control. Now, hold control is basically trying to hold this thing, as it sounds, as steady as you can, and to prevent AOM is what I call it, arc of movement. So arc of movement occurs naturally. It naturally occurs because of what the body's doing. You're no longer stationary when you're free floating just by standing, or even if you're kneeling, or even in a prone position. If the gun is not rested on something solid, totally solid, you will have arc of movement, and basically cause breathing, blood pressure, your heart rate, everything that's moving, everything's flowing. You got to breathe in and out and everything like that. So body naturally moves all the time. It's never totally 100% still. But you want to try to control that. So giving you 2 shots here, I'm going to give you 2 angles so you can look at it. as far as I said, with hold control, is bringing that out there, getting it locked in with your aiming, getting that sight picture, getting the sights lined up with proper elevation and windage, and trying to hold this thing as steady as you can. And that's the thing. And coming along with that, that's hold control. Now, the third one is breath control. All right, third fundamental is breath control. Now, as I teach, and I teach all my students, proper breath control is not holding your breath at the top of when you inhale, and it's not at the bottom when you exhale, because both have you starving, or the bloodstream starving for oxygen. If the bloodstream starves for oxygen because you're not breathing, it also affects the central nervous system, which carries through the rest of your body. So it will affect how you hold, sight, everything that comes into play with that because of lack of oxygen to the bloodstream. So what I mean by breath control is controlling the breathing in, out, smooth breathing. And as I would always teach, you don't hold your breath, you pause it. And it's a quick pause right at about halfway down. So I found it better to work on the accuracy as far as not pausing it on the way in when you breathe in, because when you extend and breathe in, you're expanding the lungs, you're bringing the lungs in the chest, everything up, going into the shoulders as you tuck that chin down in that triangle. Breathing in, that fluctuates, okay? I time it on the way out. So a nice smooth breathe in. When I come out, pause, a quick pause, halfway, and then it's basically press the trigger. As soon as you pause, it should be a nice smooth press at that instant. So it's not holding the breath, it's pausing it for an instant, a split instance, bringing it down, boom, press that trigger, there you go. So that's proper breath control. Remember, don't hold your breath for very long. It's not holding it at the top, it's not holding it at the bottom, it's a slight pause, and it works best on the pause on the way out. Breathe in, get full of oxygen in, so the bloodstream is full of oxygen. Halfway out, they release. Halfway, quick pause, and I mean a quick pause. Press the trigger, keep breathing. You should not be out of wind under breath control, under that fundamental. You should not be out of wind at all. If you do it right, you should be breathing normal and never miss a beat. Okay, so try that there. It's breath control. Now fourth, trigger control. And I'll explain to you about trigger control, because at the end of this, I'm going to tell you the two most important fundamentals that you need for accuracy, the top two. So, trigger control next. Hey guys, real quick, I know I didn't tell you about those other two important things when it comes to the 5 fundamentals of accuracy. The reason why is because I'm actually going to turn this into a series, because there's more information. There's a lot more. So there's going to be a part 2. So if you enjoy this part 1, stick around for part 2. It's coming, man. It's coming. I'm getting it set up for you. Pay attention to this thing, because it's going to be a lot of fun. All right? So stay tuned for part 2 for the quest for accuracy. That's what it is. Stay tuned. Those two are coming up soon. All right? Back to the video. All right. Trigger control. Fundamental number 4. There we go. So I'll drop my magazine. Fundamental number 4. Trigger control. Now, proper trigger control. How is that achieved? Proper trigger control is achieved if you place that trigger directly in the middle of your trigger finger. That's the flattest part of your finger, and that's the base. That is what you need. Not into the joint, and not on the tip. Not here. Not here. Not in the joint, not on the tip. In the joint, you'll get trigger pull. On the tip, you'll get trigger push. You want to put it base. Base it as flat as you can, and it's a press. It's not a curl. That's why when you hear me talk, and I always tell my students, it's subconsciously telling you to press the trigger. When I say press the trigger, subconsciously it's giving you that notion to where it needs to be pressed, not squeezed. So when you squeeze the trigger, by nature, the natural reaction to squeeze is to curl the fingers to squeeze. So that means if you're curling your trigger finger, you're curling the trigger finger. serious? As I was saying, now that you can hear me, I never say squeeze, I always say press the trigger, because if I say squeeze, you'll subconsciously squeeze the fingers and wrap them around, okay? And you never want to wrap your trigger finger around the trigger. You want to press the trigger, not squeeze, press. So, as we load up here, and we take a couple shots, and I'm going to break it down to you in a couple different views so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. So, as I press and I present the weapon, I place that trigger finger directly in the middle, right in there on that trigger, put it right in the middle of my trigger finger, and then it's a press, and I bend at the joint, not curl the tip. Okay, I bend at the joint right here and press. I don't curl the trigger finger. It's always a press, and it starts right here at the joint of the trigger finger. So once again, extend it out, as you see, bring it back. Bring it back out again, and it's press. It's press. Let me show you some here in slow-mo, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to put it right there on that finger, that way you can get a really good look.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now. You cashed in on my promises, you know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out, 'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger now.
Number 5, follow through. The last one here. Okay, we went through aiming, hold control, breath control, trigger control. Now follow through. Follow through is all of it in one, all the way to the end. There you go. So as I put everything together here, as we start out, first aiming, get that good picture sight there. Make sure that front rear sights got proper elevation, proper windage, dead even. Press that trigger all the way through. So let's do it again. Aiming, hold control, trying to hold and keep that arc of movement as still as possible. Breath control, control the breathing, nice smooth, slight pause, right on the way down, about halfway. Trigger control, press the trigger. Trigger control, and it's a press. There should be a straight press directly back at the middle of your chest. Imaginary line from the trigger all the way back straight. And it's a press, not a push down, because I've seen it before, see it all the time. If your shots are dropping low, you're pushing down on the trigger. And then you're anticipating recoil too on top of that. A few other things. So it's a straight press. The trigger goes press, it presses straight. Imaginary line, right back to the middle of the chest. Press until it goes bang. Don't anticipate the bang. You just press until it goes bang. Okay, it should basically kind of surprise you every time when it's fired. So, and then it's the follow through, everything all the way through, every fundamental. At the end, boom, everything should be right on point. As I said, aiming, hold control, breath control, trigger control, follow through. There we go. Each time. So, there you go. The 5 most important fundamentals, all about accuracy, displayed right there. Hey, thanks for watching my video. I appreciate it. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Look in the descriptions below. I got more Patreon now, guys. I really would love for you to be a Patreon. Helps me forward my dream of doing this thing full time. Make sure you check it out. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything else, all social media links. I appreciate it, guys. And always remember, being armed is a mindset, not just a physical condition.